I'm Dan.
And I'm Adam. Welcome to Videomaker's Deconstructing Cinematography, where we examine great movie scenes known for spectacular cinematography, and then break them down to find out why exactly they're so highly revered.
Now we're going to look at a scene from an innovative film that took low-light shooting to new depths. Barry Lyndon, released in 1975, still holds the title for the lowest f-stop lens used in a film. With the beautifully crafted shots in the film, it's no surprise that John Alcott won the Academy Award for Best Cinematography.
In this scene, Barry and Captain Grogan carry on an intimate conversation lit only by candlelight.
Is Miss Brady well?
There are only 6 Miss Bradys now.
Has something happened to Nora?
She took on so about your going away that she was obliged to console herself with a husband. She is now Mrs. John Quinn.
Mrs. John Quinn? Was there another John Quinn?
No, the very same one, my boy. He recovered from his wound. The shot you hit him with was not likely to hurt him, for it was only made of tow.
Tow?
Do you think the Bradys would let you kill $1,500 a year out of the family? The plan of the duel was all arranged in order to get you out of the way, for the cowardly Quinn could never be brought to marry from fear of you. But hit him you certainly did, my lad, with a fine, thick plugget of tow. The fellow was so frightened that he was an hour in coming to.
Well, that was really interesting. So what struck you about that scene, Adam?
Well, John Alcott really set the mood there. I mean, what spectacular lighting. And it's all lit with candles.
I know, right?
It's amazing. They actually had to use lenses that they modified that they got from NASA that were used for the Apollo moon landings. And believe it or not, you're actually seeing an f-stop of 0.7, the lowest ever recorded in film. And it's just amazing watching, as they speak, you can actually see the candles flicker and the light changes, and it just really sets the mood for the shot.
There was a part where he basically said the letter QU. He's like that, and you could see the candle flicker,
just go, zoom.
And it literally made a difference to his face because he was, lit all by candles. Which in most movies, because they're not lit by candles, they actually have another light off to the side.
Right.
You don't see that happen. You see that flicker of the candle, but it really doesn't translate to the face.
Right, and that's another thing. I mean, in this whole film, back in this time period, there was no light bulbs or anything like that. So they wanted to make sure the lighting looked as natural as possible. I mean, hence the candlelight. Right. And even if they did use lights, they wanted it to look as much either like candlelight or natural sunlight to help fill out the scene.
And I'm sure that felt really nice for the actors, not having that heat on their face from those lights, of course.
I'm sure. But it was probably a nice change.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at even today's technology, we really don't have lenses that are f.7.
No.
I mean, f.9 is about the best you can get. Even then, that's an expensive lens.
Absolutely.
I mean, you have DSLRs, which you can get to about f1.2 with like the 50mm lens, but even with that, if you're going to light by candlelight, it's literally going to cost you the fact that you have to have a bunch of grain in the scene by jacking up your ISO.
Right, it's not going to look nearly as good, but I wouldn't even want to shoot at f.7. I mean, how would you keep it in focus? As a matter of fact, in this film, in order to make sure that the actors were in focus, because with the lenses they couldn't really tell with the camera, they actually had a video camera that was 90 degrees off of the cinema camera. And then they had a monitor, and they actually marked lines on the monitor that showed where the shot was in focus and out of focus.
So the actors could stay right where they're supposed to be,
Exactly. So if the actor was beyond the line or behind the line, then they knew right away they're not going to be in focus, and we're going to have to redo this.
Well, you pretty much have to at f.7, obviously. I mean, I've shot with f1.2 lenses. And
that's very shallow.
Yeah, I've shot somebody dancing back and forth, and every time they dance one way, they're out of focus, I got to refocus, then they come back, I got to refocus again. And that's just an area of about like a couple of feet. I can't imagine something like an f.7.
Yeah, and if you look at the shot too, you see that only a very small portion of the actor is in focus. I mean, maybe his eyes and maybe a little bit of his face, but even his jacket down here is going to be out of focus.
Because of the distance, right?
Right.
Yeah, which is amazing that they actually got as much focus as they did out of those f.7 lenses. I would imagine that would be really tough to do.
Truly an amazing scene.
Now, you might be willing to sit through the full 187 minutes of Barry Lyndon, but I'm sure you're sick of hearing us talk by now. So, in our next segment, we'll check out a scene you can't refuse in The Godfather.
Gordon Willis helped shape the incredible look and feel of this film with some really astonishing cinematography.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.